Hello, welcome back. Here's card number 3 for our Expressions in Ink class, and it's the one with the little gold leaves on. So that's what I've called the card. I've called it the gold leaves card. And here's all the sizings. It's a pretty piece of card. I love that the designer series paper has a little bit of white on as well, and that it does mainly all the work for you. So you don't need to do any other stamping apart from the sentiment. So in your envelope, you should find a Pear Pizzazz base, the basic white for the inside, a piece of shaded spruce, your little piece of designer series paper with the gold on, your sentiment goes on one of the smaller Stitched So Sweetly dies, but you could easily use a punch if you were recreating that. The gold leaves are from the bow punch, and it punches out one of the smaller and one of the larger, and then I just punched a third one, the smaller one. You've got 15 inches of the Simply Elegant trim, which comes in gold and silver in a twin pack, and this is of course the gold one. So it's quite a quick one. Once you've got everything cut, it's easy to put together. So we've got the Pear Pizzazz base, and on the inside I'm just putting a piece of basic white. You could stamp on here, you could add a little piece of the designer series paper if you had some left, if you were cutting and making the whole card. I used one of these cards, this exact same design, and I used it as an engagement card. It went down really well. It was really pretty, but it would make, you know, a great birthday card or a thank you card. I'm making mine into a thank you card, but lots of different occasions for it. And it's a fun little layout. It's one that you can use on lots of different cards using different designer series papers and things. Okay, so I'm just going to attach my designer series paper to the shaded spruce, and I want the white at the right hand side, just because for me I like the look of that, but there's nothing to say you couldn't have it going at this side. But for my eye, I like the white at the right hand side. So just attach this. You can use a liquid glue, tape runner, whatever glue works for you. And then before I attach this to the card, I'm going to put the twine round. Now, I want my bow at the right hand side on this white piece. And if you've watched me before on YouTube or anything, you know that sometimes I have a problem with bows and I seem to tie them upside down. So I have to turn my paper upside down to make my bow. Oops, that's going to pop right out. I don't know why. Obviously I've always tied them upside down. I'm just going to retie that because it's a bit wobbly. To make it stay still, you can just put a little bit of tape or a glue dot on the back. I might resort to that, yeah. It's quite a slippery trim to tie this as well. It's not like a ribbon that lays flat. There we go. Okay. Then I can put it round this way, and then I can fiddle with it a little bit. If it's not going to lay flat on your card, you can put a glue dot underneath as well. Sometimes it'll lay flat for me, sometimes it won't. I think it depends how much I twist the trim. It's not going well though, is it? It's not sticking down. So that's it, it's had a chance. It's going on a glue dot now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the bow, keep the knot, and put the glue dot on so that the knot can go on that glue dot, and then it might sit still for me. A least you can see from this video that things don't always go right the first time. And that's fine, because we'll make a plan. Okay. Whoops, look, doesn't even want to stick. I'm sure that's because it's on camera. I didn't have this much problem with the first one. And you won't have any bother at all. Yours is going to tie just perfectly. But very soon this is going into timeout. Right. It just doesn't want to stay stuck. And now I don't think my glue dot's very sticky because I've kept touching it with my fingers. Oh dear me. I promise you this isn't as difficult as I'm making it look. The twine isn't that bad. Okay. There we go. I should have stuck with the other one a few minutes ago, shouldn't I? If you want to fast forward through 20 minutes of me tying a bow, that's fine. Okay, let's cut this piece off. Yay! I've tied a bow. Okay, so I'm going to attach this onto the base, but I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals just so that it stands a little bit proud of the card base. I bet you thought I was never ever going to be able to tie that bow and that we weren't going to have a card. But some days things work really fast and another day it takes a few turns. But that's okay. The end result will be wonderful. Okay, there we are. Okay, so next we need our little sentiment, and I'm going to put this one over the top of the ribbon, over the top of the twine. So I'm going to put dimensionals at the top and the bottom so that it doesn't stick onto the twine. And then I'm going to put the little leaves in. So I'm actually going to cut some of this long piece from the dimensionals and put one at the bottom and one at the top. And that way it leaves a space for the twine or the trim. Just by leaving that little gap, it means that it will sit over the top of the trim. Pop that one over here. And then I'm going to attach these. If you've got glue dots, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put them in with glue dots. If you don't have glue dots, you can just use a little bit of liquid glue or even stick them on the back of your little punched, your little die cut here beforehand. Sometimes I will put a dot on the top and a dot on the bottom. And that way I know it's going to catch underneath the little die cut and on the back taper. And it will depend where you've put your little piece of dimensional as to where you can just poke that in. So again, I'm just going to pop one on the top, one on the bottom, and then I know that it's either going to stick the top or the bottom. Pop one at this left hand side. There we are. And then my last one is going to go over here. And it's going to, mine will just thread down there. So just depending on where you've put that dimensional. find that little space where I just had it. I want it to go down a little bit. There we go. I didn't want it to be too raised up, too high up here. Okay, so there we are. That's the third card that we've made, and the only thing in timeout is that little bow. So I might fiddle with that afterwards, because I'm still not really happy with it. But there we go, that's the third card. So tune in for the fourth card, and that will be the Pinwheel Tower card. Thanks everybody, thanks for your patience while I tied a bow. Bye.